Hi, in this video I'm going to teach you all about the current results page on our website. So when you log into your IFR account, on the top right of the dashboard you'll see the current results button. Now I suggest that every week you look at the current results so then you can help to make a decision on which currency pairs that you wish to trade for the week. The results will be updated every Thursday night, and then you will actually have until 10 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time Fridays to be able to choose which currency pairs that you want to trade the following week. So that's 10 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time, which is currently 3 a.m. Saturday UK time, or 12 noon Sydney, Australia time. But you're always best off looking at a world clock to see the difference because of daylight saving, etc., etc. So the key time to remember is from Thursday night up until 10 p.m. Friday nights US Eastern Standard Time. So we click on current results and then it will bring up this new page. That will open up in a new window for you. So the current results. The information below is the result of our intensive scanning of the markets to create a portfolio of trading strategies for Ms. AI to trade for us. We have done everything in our power to create what we believe is a portfolio of well-diversified trading strategies. That should stack the odds in our favour for the upcoming week. Now, of course, there are no guarantees. History has a history of repeating when it comes to trading. However, past performance is not indicative of future results. So the video you're watching now is actually in here. Now, of course, the video is not in there while I'm demonstrating this to you because I'm recording the video right now. So what we can see here at a glance is the results of the scan results of the AUD, USD, Pound, USD, and so on down through each of the currency pairs. So what does this mean? Well, let's just look at the Aussie dollar as an example. The AUD M1, that's a 1 minute chart, a 5 minute chart, M15 is a 15 minute chart, and an M30 is a 30 minute chart. So we trade off the 4 different time frames. We can see here the strategies generated. Ms. AI generated 37,000 different trading strategies and tested them all to see if they would meet our criteria. And then we have a double validation. And on the double validation, nothing came up. Out of 37,000 strategies, nothing met our criteria. So we won't be trading off the 1 minute chart this week. Or next week, I should say. Now we've got the M5, the 5 minute chart. Over 35,000 different strategies were generated, of which 14 met the criteria of the double validation. However, I then cast my eyes personally over each of the strategies. I look at them all, I analyze the results of them as well, and then I handpick the ones for us to trade the following week. And there was nothing out of those 14, none of those met my additional criteria that I personally use. So then we look at the 15 minute time frame. We've got 38,000 strategies. 45 met the double validation criteria, and one of them come up trumps. Hooray! We have one strategy to trade on the 15 minute chart. So the profit per day on that one is 21 cents per day. And the maximum drawdown was nearly $80 on that one strategy. Now that was a little bit high, $80, and I'll explain why just in a moment. The 30-minute chart, 98,000. Guys, this is pretty powerful. Not pretty powerful, it is very powerful. That's why these scans take 10 hours for each time frame to scan, produce the different strategies, and then test the strategies, then double test them, and then I cast my eyes over them. So there was 177 strategies that were actually met our criteria of the double validation, of which 10 of those strategies met my more stringent criteria. Now, my criteria is a lot more stringent. The reason being is that we want to be able to drill down and try to stack as many odds in our favor as possible to be able to give us a profitable week. Now, here with those 10 strategies, they've averaged $1.86 profit per day with a maximum drawdown over the last couple of years. We'll look at that into more detail in a moment. All right, but over the last couple of years, maximum drawdown was $278 on those whole 10 strategies. So if we look at those there, 10 strategies, that means on average there about $28 drawdown for one strategy. While the M15, we only have one strategy there, and that drawdown was about $80. I was okay with that because everything else stacked up really well with that. To get something perfect, absolutely perfect, mission impossible. So there's got to be some leeway somewhere, otherwise we will never have anything to trade. So on the Aussie dollar, we had $358 of maximum drawdown, and that was averaging profit of $2 per day. Now, $2 per day profit on a $5 account, that equates to 2% per week. Not a bad return. Add that up over a year. And this is on a lean time here, because look at this. We ultimately want to get up to about 60 different strategies in here. All right, but it's a very, very unstable time in the market right now, so our strategy selection is very tight. Preservation of capital is the main thing. It's one thing to go and make fantastic profits, but we want to be able to preserve our capital as well. 2% for a week, still not a bad return, is it? Add that up for a month. What's that? 4.3 times 2 is 9% for the month. Not a bad return. Now, if you want to add to that, we can look at the other currencies, or you may not even want to trade the Aussie. Totally up to you. Let's now look at the pound. The pound, same criteria takes place here. So if we look at this, we've got $1.11 on the pound, and there's only a drawdown of 50. So if you added those two together there and traded both of those pairs in the one account, now we're looking at an account being $500. So $500 for one account. So depending on how conservative you are, or depending on how aggressive you are, would depend on how many currency pairs that you would trade in the account at one time. Now remember, maximum drawdown. We don't want to blow your account. Okay, so $500 is the max. Right, well, it's not really the max, because a broker will probably only give you about 80% drawdown. So 80% of 500 is probably the maximum they would allow you. Now, the probability of being in maximum drawdown again, right, well, we just never know, do we? All right, so all I can do is show you here the worst case scenario of what's happened over the time of the scanning here. So if we added these together, 50 plus 350 is about 400 drawdown of a $3 or 3% return for the week. Now look at the Japanese yen, all right, 42 cents, and that's only on a $79 drawdown. So you might want to add the pound US dollar with the pound Japanese yen, right? Whatever combination that you wish to do, and how you want to take control and manage your account. Again, it's very, very volatile times right now with Brexit and lots of things happening with China, with Trump and the trade wars going on, and so on and so on. So again, we want to keep our strategies really tight, keep our criteria really tight, because one in the hand is better than two in the bush for sure. So making these profits are still great profits, still far better profits than what an average trader is going to make anyway. 42 on that, the Canadian dollar. Okay, Canadian dollar, 94 cents. So that's about 1% for the week. That has averaged for 128 drawdown. If you look at the results of the Canadian dollar last week, we can see there that on a $500 account, it actually made nearly $42 profit. And then the floating P&L, that's the open trade. So there were still two open trades at the end of the week that had another $8 profit. Add the two together, there's nearly $50 on a $500 account. So that's about 10% for the week. So weeks vary, guys. There's some weeks that are very lean on our scans, and some weeks where there are a lot of different strategies on that scan. Okay, so let's now take a look at the detailed results. So underneath each of the currency pairs, you will see a click here for detailed results. So if I click on that, a new window will appear, and these are the detailed results for the Aussie dollar, US dollar. So the details below break down the strategy results of each of the time frames that we'll be trading next week. We provide this information to help you decide which currency pairs that you want to trade next week. Now, of course, there are no guarantees. History has a history of repeating with trading, like we mentioned before, but past performance is not indicative of future results. So the 1 minute time frame, there are no trades, there are no strategies for this week or this coming week for the 1 minute time frame. Same with the 5 minute time frame. Here's the M15, the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so depending on what you want to do, guys, you can drill down and look into this as well. You might want to keep analysing this for a few weeks, and then when you get to understand the figures more, it'll only take you a few seconds to look through. You mightn't even go to this stage. You might only look on the other page, the overview page, and make your decision on what you want to trade. It is totally up to you. We want full disclosure, full transparency. I want to be able to show you everything that is behind the trading that's going to take place next week. So this chart, that's not a price chart of the Australian dollar. That's a balance chart of these portfolio of strategies. Well, in this case here, the M15, the 15-minute chart, there is only one strategy that we're trading. So let's go down to the 30-minute time frame then. So the 30-minute time frame, we've got 10 different strategies that we're trading. So the 10 of those put together with the daily profit, this is the chart of the profit over the period of time. What period of time? Okay, so the period of time is from September 2014 through to the current time here of the 19th of April 2019. So we can see here, this is a nice steady chart. This looks fantastic. Compare that with this one here on the 1 minute, on the 15 minute, because there's only one strategy there. We can see here that the maximum drawdown was $80, 79.57. So we can see a couple of points here where it went down and then it went down. I'm okay with this now because look, we're up here, and we would hope that it would continue to rise from here now because it did have that drawdown before and a drawdown here. Again, history has a history of repeating. Now, if we look here on this one, the net profit was 3,000 US. The maximum drawdown was 278. So a key point to look at here is the return to drawdown, 11.2. The higher that is, the better in my books, because that means 11.2 times the maximum drawdown was our profit. Now, one of the criteria that we have in the scanning of each individual strategy is that we want the strategy to be a minimum of 2 times. So in other words, the maximum drawdown has to, or the profit, net profit has to be double of what the maximum drawdown was for every strategy that is all put together in the portfolio. So this one here is quite good, 11.2. And then it'll show here how many trades. There was 3,000 odd trades, and you can just look at all the different details down here. Maximum consecutive losses, 15. Okay, another criteria that we have on the individual strategies is that on the double validation, it kicks out any strategy that has had 5 or more consecutive losses. So why does this have 15 then? Well, this has 15 because there are 10 different strategies. So this is a combination of the 10. The combination of the 10 strategies, there were 15 consecutive losses. Well, if we look at this one up here, the maximum consecutive losses was only 4 because there was only one strategy at that particular time. This is a quick edit because there was something that I forgot to mention when I did the recording. If we look down the bottom here, we can see the spread, and the spread is 10 points. We can see spread up here again is 10. When we do our scanning, we set the spread as 10. Now, the reason why we do that is that everybody's trading with different brokers, so we want to make these figures as conservative as possible. So we use a static spread of 10. Now, many times with our trading, we have spreads of only 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again, it depends on which currency pair you're trading, but quite often we can get spreads down as little as 1. So the results should be higher than what we're showing you here with our scanning. That gives you a lot more insight, guys, into the depth of what Miss AI does with her scanning. She drills right down and analyzes thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of different strategies to come up with what she believes is going to be a profitable strategy for the following week. Then she bundles them all together and we trade that all on our MT4 trading platform. So I hope you enjoyed that video. That was quite in-depth. You might want to rewind and go over it again. And again, as time goes by, you'll get more and more proficient at this. You'll come up with your own rules. You'll come up with your own rules of your risk tolerance by looking at these figures here. You might think that, okay, well, $358 drawdown. No, that's too high risk for me. I'm okay with this one here. It's a $50 drawdown on a $500 account, and I'm still making 1% for the week. Or I want to add that together, and now I want to boost it up to 1.5% for the week by adding these two together, and now my drawdown is what, $130. Or you might want to go down here and look at, okay, want to add another potential 1% here, so that's 128 drawdown. Totally up to you guys what your risk tolerance is. Again, here's a good example. We can see here 66 cents profit compared with 94 cents profit, but this one has a higher drawdown, right? 148 compared with 128. So all of our risk tolerances are different. You need to choose what you prefer the best to suit your personal risk tolerance.